Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart. And set an intention for your practice, for your wellness. Say it as if it is so. And then inhale, draw the gaze back up and relax the hands down. So, reviewing Baxter's sequence that we started with last time. So I invite you to come onto your back. And you want to have the mats far enough out from the wall where you have room to spread out. So going, the long way. And you have the feet towards the wall so that you can take the arms overhead. And then as you come onto your back, so flexibility and strength, we want to marry these two together. So be able to stretch your legs out completely. I'm just going to lock the door here real quick so we don't have unaccompanied visitors. And on the inhalation, let's take the arms up overhead. Let's stretch the legs out all the way. And then exhale, hug the right knee to the chest, chin to chest. And inhale, take the leg to the side. And take it across, give it to your left hand and twist. Hold the knee up high as you do that. Come back to center, clasp the hands behind the thigh, press the heel to the sky for the hamstring event. And exhale, hug the knee back in, chin to chest. And inhale, full body stretch. And left side, exhale, hug the knee in, chin to chest. Inhale, take the knee to the side. So holding it high, take it out to the left side. And exhale, twist. And inhale back to center, clasp the hands behind. Press up through the heel, keep the right leg super long and strong. Exhale, hug the left knee in to the chest, chin to chest again, and inhale, stretch all the way out. And again, right side, hug the chin, chest, or knee, and then inhale, take the knee to the right, hold it up high, and take it to the left. Give it to your left hand. And come back to center, hands behind the thigh, press up to the heel, and exhale, hug the knee back in, and full body stretch. Last time on the left. Hug the knee in, and just hold, keep your left hand on the outside of the knee, and just take the knee out to the left side. Boom. And then keep your heel up high, Meg. So don't keep it exactly where you had it before, and then take it across and twist, and back to center for the hamstring. Press up through the heel, and exhale back in, chin to chest, and full body stretch. And take the arms down, bend the knees, roll over onto one side. So we just want a little bit of juice flowing. This pose, this sequence is really good for the endocrine. When we do these chin lifts, the thyroid gets a little massage, the parathyroid underneath gets stimulation too. So that's why this does support wellness too. So now, this week's sequence. And the first pose, which is partial pyramid pose. Now, what I want you to do, and I'm going to send out some other photos for you, but the first and the second pose, cross them off. I've actually corresponded with Dr. Fishman, and he agreed that maybe these poses were not optimal. So I'm going to show you the other poses that we're going to insert instead. So remember, there are two things that we want to maintain. It is that you're going to, yes, you're going to cross off these two poses. Oops. Come on in, Agnes. That's all right. Downtown was, this bus waits for everybody. And so in this pose, I'm going to put you right here in the middle, Agnes. And I'm going to move the camera over and actually show how we're going to do this, because I need my side wall here. The first pose that's demonstrated, and this is what I told Dr. Fishman, I think that's unsafe. If you have somebody who is unstable on their legs and you ask them to come into a back bend on the wall, that ain't going to go well. That's just my thought. If you want them to have the back bend, why not do it facing the wall? And now take one foot up, take the arms up. Here I get the spinal extension. I get the pose much more directly. So that's how we're going to do the pose instead of trying to do this really scary back bend. I think he's going to change it out in the next time he does this one. I know, right? So you'll face against the wall. So come over here, Meg. So we're simply doing, so pyramid pose is this pose when we come forward. Here, you take the arms up, we get the spinal extension without risk of falling, without anything scared. So that's what we want out of this pose. So let's take the right foot to the wall. Have your mat all the way up against the wall. Toes can be up. Left leg goes back about 3 feet-ish. And have your feet on two little railroad tracks. So you're not on a tightrope. Your feet side by side, side by side. Yes, yes. And then as you place your feet, now kick your left heel back further. So it's still turned out a little bit, but not a lot of it. So that you can get your left hip forward. So your pelvis and your shoulder joint are both facing towards the wall. Walk the hands up the wall and then draw the hips back, and it will pull you into a spinal extension pose. So drawing the hips back as you reach the arms up, and the arms can go wider. So if the arms are really narrow, that might be super uncomfortable. Think of drawing the sternum towards the chin. And breathe, hug the hips in towards one another as you ground the legs. And we still get the benefit, but looking up, looking up. So think of drawing the spine in. Spine moves in. Let's do one more breath. Take the arms down to about shoulder height so that you secure. Remember, this is the osteoporosis variation. So we want to be very safe. You will step your left leg up, right leg back, switch out. And then again, have your feet again on two little railroad tracks. And as you, before you draw back, so Agnes, your feet may be a little too snug. If you just toe heel your left foot a little bit further out to the left side. So you want to have enough space for your pelvis. Your sits bones, your heels are your sits bones width apart. And then draw the hips back as you reach the arms up the wall. About shoulder width. So you're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch, yes? So Barbara, a little bit longer stance and straightening the front knee, straighten the front knee, take the hips back, yeah. So about 3 feet, about 3 feet. So this is all about lengthening the front spine, lengthen the front spine. And inhaling, again, lifting up and step the feet together. How did that feel? Welcome, Agnes, we missed you. You have been selling and packing and packing and selling and big old mess. So if you look at the second pose, which is the osteopenia pose, instead of doing like they are doing on the photo, so I took that one out too, and I said, I don't understand it because somebody's really kyphotic. This is not going to do anything. It's not, I'm still kyphotic. So I said wall bridge, where you stand with the feet a couple of feet out from the wall, elbows on the wall, and then press the hips out. Now I'm getting that same extension of the spine. Pressing the hips out. Walk a little bit further out, Meg. Rosanna, you're very far out. Does it feel okay? Yes, she's saying it feels good. So bend the elbows and press the elbows into the walls. You're really lifting the heart. So Barbara, turning around. And do wall bridge, yes. So with the elbows into the waist, walk the feet out a few feet, a foot and a half maybe, yes. And then press the hips away. So the legs are super firm, grounding into the floor. Press back. Be kind, Meg, being kind. You can take the arms down long, strong too, like this. So this is, it's much about getting the back bend again here. Powerful bridge pose. And release the bum back to the wall. Yes, because here, this is tight. And here, you're working that whole seam. Barbara, Rosanna, Janice, I can't see you, so I'm thinking you're giving me a thumbs up. So this is an easy one to snack on. Yeah, so powerful pose, because again, we tend to have more of the collapse, our inner light, and here strengthens the legs, opens the front spine. So our next pose, what they're doing here is the hand variation. And that is for the prevention, which I think, yeah, it's all fine and great, but it's not available to a lot of people. So the wrist threading that we did before here, I was going to say what you can do too. Is this available? Let's try this instead. Grabbing and then pulling on the hand. So it is that tension. So pulling on the forearms. You can do it with a strap too, Meg. So reverse Namaskarasana or arm pulls, because here too, we're strengthening. This is the radius that is weak. Now, straight forward. So it actually feels more like you are drawing the hips, the chest upward. So there's a slight forward fold. So in this, even in the prevention, do you not do the full pose here? Now the next pose is, before I say that, are there any questions about this first one here? Yeah, I will send you the pictures of these first two modifications. I'll send that when I send the link to the recording today. So our next pose is Natarasana, King Dancer pose. I thought that was really kind of an interesting choice of the dear man, but hey, ambitious. I'll go with it. So looking at the photo, she's on the chair. And have the chair towards the wall. And you take one knee on the chair. So everyone, we're just beginning to get the hip extension of this pose. This is a pose that I jokingly say, I think it's easier if you're wearing skates because they all seem to be able to do it. And then they just reach back and catch their foot way back there. So this is the beginning pose of that. Here, we're reaching the arms up. So now it becomes a balance pose in addition to a front body opener. So you are grounding on one, so the leg close to the wall, taking the arms up. If balance is unsteady, you would take a hand to the wall to support your body. Breathing in.
So, and I think I'm doing something wrong because.
Let me look at you, Rosanna, because you looked okay from where I was standing, but let me see again.
What is balance? The right leg is on the chair, right?
Yeah, so then you're bouncing on the left foot. So you're standing on just one foot, even though your right leg is on the chair. You're now changing how you stand. So think of this one as the osteoporosis variation. This is for the most fragile. And then let's switch to the other side. Fall prevention is the key for the first one of each one, fall prevention. So while you are strengthening, you are lengthening. You're gonna use your bent knee also for support. So standing on a block or blanket, you can slide your left leg further back too. So it's slightly further, yes. Yeah. So you can adjust there. And again, 3 to 6 breaths. 3 to 6 breaths. And releasing down. See, that's pretty manageable. The next one, you can take your strap. We're gonna make a little loop for the foot. A little loop. And we're gonna use the chair for support. So you may again think, okay, I like tree pose. I like some of the other balance poses from sequence 2. So the more you practice these poses, and in classes, I cycle through these poses in a month's time. And because I want to make sure that we have them in the repertoire. So my chair is against the wall. So I have the chair back for support. taking, I'm going to move it back a little bit. You can see me better here. Oop. I'm trying a whole new camera angle today. Here we are, looping my foot, my right foot. And I take this, the one that you're not facing the wall with yet. So the one that's out, but just watch me come into the pose, because here, while this is osteopenia, so I still don't want to fall. I have some weakness. So I'm thinking of extension again. Ooh, this is not the easiest of poses. Just getting that all caught. So as I draw the leg up behind, now I use my arm to get the lift. You can see if I was a skater, I would just reach back and catch my foot. So the lower that you hold the strap, the more lift you're going to get on that back leg. The lower you grab the strap. Just, Barbara, straightening your arm so you're not pulling your arm down, your arm is straight. So I might have cut myself off in the process. But again, still holding on for support. So with the arm straight, so have enough for that, because that helps maintain that long line. Barbara, how does that feel? Like, inhaling all the way back up and step down. So this is about the hip flexor. It's opening the hip flexor. So with my hand, turn to the other side. Notice, am I getting the leg pulled back? Because if I just bend forward here, I'm not getting any more hip flexor. So this is about using my arm to lifting the leg up with. Let's see what happens. So hand on chair. Lifting. Lift the leg up. Looking good. Barbara, can you lift your arm higher up? So don't come so much forward into the fold as much as standing up taller, but keep pulling the leg behind, pulling the leg behind. I want to say we're getting close to that 72-second mark, aren't we? And we'll release down. Stand and feel. Feedback. Tell me what you think. Yes, it is a quad stretch. It is exactly what it is. When our hips are in an anterior, then quads are tight. So this is to get the hip flexors full on board. Yes, you will feel them if they are tight. Yes, you will feel, and you've been probably kneeling a lot, sitting a lot. So everything is really tight in the front groins. Yes, that makes perfect sense. So for the full on event, you would take both hands to the strap. So I'm looking at my people that have a diagnosis of osteopenia and osteoporosis, and I'm like, no. So Rosanna, you are last man on deck. Because again, once you have both arms overhead, if you fall, yeah, I mean, what are the chances of you tumbling over? It is really nice to have that hand down on this chair, since we're doing this for strengthening, not trying to get a job at Cirque du Soleil or scathing. So yeah, if you look at the third picture, as you'll see, she has both hands behind. So here we're practicing both balance and flexion. Okay, here we go. Ekapada Rasha Kapotasana. If no other reason, it's fun just to say. So number 3. This pose is same thing. It is hip flexion. I can see I'll be moving down here. So I'm just going to move the whole setup here first. I think it's easier for the Zoomers to see me down here with the wall. So in the first one, it's a kneeling pose. That's all we want to do. I do it right there. Let's see. Kneeling, facing the wall, yes. And here, yes, you can put a block under your foot. Do you need to? You can adjust how far back your other knee is, and you can place that on a blanket. But here I'm working on the same element. I'm working on my hip flexors. And my hands are on the wall. So let's have the right leg back and the left leg forward. So I'm just in a lunge. And then so focus on being your right hip flexor. Draw the tailbone towards the floor, pull the lower abdomen in and up. Pull the abdomen in and up, because you can feel how easy it is for your pelvis to tilt forward, because it's like, that's a little intense for my hip flexors. To keep the sternum lifted, lifted, lifted. And you can add a little isometric by pulling the hands down on the wall without actually pulling them anywhere, but that helps create that lifting up of the sternum. A pulling up-ish. And let's switch to the other side. And as you switch, again, strong lift of the lower abdomen, arms about hip height. So row your left foot on the floor and the knee up. And then so yes, there you go. So take your right foot, walk it to the wall. There. Sorry, I was giving you wrong, but Agnes, thank God, saved the day. Now again, use your arms to isometrically pull your heart upward as you're pulling down to get the lift. Keep the tailbone drawing down. Lower abdomen moving in, moving in, moving in, and up. So there's a little heat there. Yeah, are you on the second side now, Meg, or are you still on the first side? Okay. So hip flexors are an important part, because as a culture, we spend a lot of time sitting down and we get tight. Now, from here, for the osteopenia variation, So Meg, are you repeating the first side or are you just doing the second side again? So in the next variation, and again, this is the sequence where he gets the most ambitious, let's just say it that way. Here, we're basically repeating what we did in Natarashana, in king dancer pose. Rasha means king, but the hip flexibility. So on the, aiming it down so you can see me crawling around here. Here, I now take one leg up the wall and the other one is forward. So this is the starting position. And you can see this is going to demand much more of me. Now, using your hands on the floor, she has it, again, I'm not really keen on this. She has the strap around the foot and she is balancing here. This is asking a lot. We're here. I can control it a little bit more. So the shin is all the way against the wall. So in the other, yes, the top of the knee. And then the toes are stretched up the wall. Toes are stretched up the wall. So your other knee comes out and in front. So take that so the foot will come up towards the midline. Your back is lifted. So here, what they are, if you come forward again and take your strap with the loop on it and loop it around the foot that's up the leg. So this is osteopenia. But again, if that feels unsafe to catch the strap and pulling up in the pose. Are you okay, Agnes? I'm trying to crawl away from the, move away slowly. So the top of the foot, bottom of the foot. The hamstring, yes. Take a moment and do the other side. So the leg is up the wall, your other knee is forward. So forward and in, because this pose is often taught where we come down over the front leg. Here, we don't want any forward folds, so this is why they're keeping it up. So lift the heart. So you're doing a big hip opener on your wall leg. Can you tell? And your quads, Agnes, are really be taken to the test. So Barbara and Rosanna, that looks good. And Agnes, are you being careful there? There. So your wall leg is tucked. Can you go straight up? There, yes. And they're like, no. And so Rosanna, you're the only one who has permission to do the preventative pose. So both hands would be holding the, nay. It's very, very challenging. Yes. Tightness in the hips, yes. And let's get ourselves out of this mess. Agnes, the last time I taught Let's Pose in class was like, can't remember. Because I rarely teach king pigeon pose in class. I generally don't think it's a safe pose. I think there's a lot of other ways we can do the benefit. So in your notes, I would also put a big question mark next to this pose, because the hip flexibility that has to be in place, the lunge, just do an arrow up to the lunge, that the first one that we did, the first pose, is really all you need, but cross off the second or the third, because that, unless you have really good hip flexibility with integrity, so that's the key with hip integrity, these poses get to put a tremendous amount of strain on the hip capsule. So the first one, the lunge, is good. The other two, no, not so much. So
I have a question.
Yes, Rosanna.
On number 3, it seems like the lower leg and the upper leg, the leg that is not on the wall, is lying on the floor, the side of the leg. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what? So if you think of how Ekapada Rasha Kapotasana, again, this pose, when it's done, it's often done with the back leg straight. When I teach it, I take one leg up first and then slide the other leg back. So this leg here is down. So, but they putting it on the wall here and putting it into that deep, or with the strap over, which is a real mouthful. And so if a pose is so cumbersome and difficult to do, are we going to do it? In my opinion, no. Why not just say, okay, I need to open my hip flexors, boom, and I'm good. If I want to add the balance element here, I'm good. And that's just safe and beneficial for everybody. I am a lazy practitioner. I'll be the first to say that. Give me the benefit from the pose so I can go about doing what I need to do. That's another great question. So the question is, Rosanna and Barbara, can you hear the questions when they ask? Ish. So she said, should the back leg be as far back as possible? That all depends on what's happening in the hip flexor. Because if they are tight, I'm going to want to do this to keep them closed. So I can, if I take it way back here, if I'm still collapsing into the hip flexor and pulling the hip backs this way, that doesn't benefit me. I can take it back, but I need to maintain the strong lift as opposed to here and here. So with the shorter stance, this is a little easy to control because now my pelvis in that posterior tilt. So just try, if you do the short lunge with me here, think of drawing the tailbone down and the abdomen in and up instead of the anterior tilt, which we do when the hip flexors are tight. And so in the shorter stance, we can control the pelvis a little bit more efficiently. Pardon? Those quads. Okay. Okay, she said, we've gotten to one of my favorite poses. Warrior 3. So I'll wait. Just take your time finishing up. When you're ready, turn around. And we will get all jiggy with it. So if you look at the pictures before we start, there's not that, I mean, the shape is very similar. The first picture is osteoporosis, second picture is osteopenia, and the third picture is prevention. So the difference is how we support the pose. And so the first variation, and that builds on what we did a couple of classes ago, we did downward facing dog on the wall. So this is an easy snack. And Agnes, you have this in your kitchen sink sequence too, where downward facing dog on the wall, easy peasy, creating the right angle, and then lift the belly up. And I take a leg up. And you hold that for a while, taking care you're not dropping the head. So hands pressing into the wall, leg lengthen back. So let's do that. So hands about waist high. So create that right angle first. Let me see your wall dog. Let me see the wall dog. Press the hips back. Pull, so the abdomen is pulling in and up. And then here. So Agnes, draw the upper spine in, draw the upper spine in. Ugh. And then lift the right leg back, lift the right leg. And lift the leg without lifting the hips. Yeah, so don't lift the right pelvis, lift the left hip up instead, but drop the right hip down. Rosanna, drop the hip down, drop the hip down, drop the hip down, and lift the leg. And breathe. And lift. And breathe. And take the leg down. Push the hips back and stand up. That one is very challenging. Yes. So that was on the standing leg, you were feeling some issues. So turn around just real quick, and because this is what happens in this pose for many of us, because we get really excited about lifting the leg, but then it gets here and say, well, if I do the hip instead, I can get a lot more height under that leg. But now I just put a lot of torque into my spine. So drop the hip down, lift the standing leg instead. And I can see my toes are pointing down. I should be able to just peek down. There they are. Yes. So that is, the neighbors in our bodies are super friendly, and they say, well, since you're not doing it, let's help you. But we don't want the neighbors around for this one here. We want the hip. So this is a super powerful hip strengthener and spine, lumbar spine strengthener. So let's see it again. Pull the hips back, pull the hips. So get your dog angled first, and row, pull, straighten your elbows. Straighten, I know, so you might be a little too tight, row, to the wall. So, yeah, so if you start with the hands on the wall and walk the feet back, so you get a good wall dog going. Yes, Rosanna, much cleaner this time. Belly's on the spine, belly's on the spine. So think of the standing leg, hip lifting up. Standing leg, hip lifting up. You're pressing the hands into the wall. You're reaching back through the stand of the lifted leg. So when you practice the hamstring stretch in the first sequence, this is the same pose, but it don't feel like it. And lower down. Hoist, hoist, he said. Yes, you may use the facilities. So if wrists are not loving it, fingertips also works, but you're gonna love the next one instead. We lost Ro, we lost Rosanna. So good time to ask a question. Yeah.
And she's straight across and all.
Mm-hmm.
When I do downward dog, I have more of a feeling of a V where my legs go up.
Right. This is what I call the wall dog. So in downward facing dog, you are a 90-degree angle at the hip. Here, you are a 90-degree angle at the hip. But because your hands are on the wall instead of the floor, the shape has not changed. So walk the feet further back, but your shoulder mobility will limit you a little bit. So as you pull the hips back over, a straight line from hips to heels. Straight, yeah. Straight down from hips to heels. So your sits bones are over the ankles. I am drinking mango green tea with mint. Yes. Yes. So can you feel how that feels just like downward facing dog? Ish. Yes. So it's the same pose, but for somebody who has high blood pressure, shouldn't take the head below the heart, or glaucoma, head not below the heart.
Using the wall in this way is safer. You're still getting the same actions. I think my earphone just died, so I'm going to switch it up to the other one.
Rosanna, Barbara, Janice, yes, good. So, I mean, the osteoporosis variation was not a walk in the park. So how we take this one into the osteopenia is with a chair. And now I get to use the wall. So here, and Meg, I understand your confusion about how is this the same pose? And it is all we do in downward facing dog. This is the angle at the hip. So when I do warrior 3, now I'm going to do it the other direction. I'm going to gauge my leg length to the wall. And then here I am. So now I'm in the same pose, but I just added the arms. So let's see how that goes. Forearms are on the back of the chair. Forearms. Yeah. And the foot is flat on the wall. So toes pointing down. So the same principle, lifting the hip on the standing leg. So Agnes, dial your toes down on your wall leg, yes. So this pose is for the day where you really want to build some muscle. Oh yeah, you're getting a full on stretch. So Meg, your standing leg is too close to the wall. Yeah, good adjustment, Barbara. So lifting up as you were, lift the torso up there. And then press the foot into the wall. I think you're still too close, Meg. That looks better. And you may be too far away, Agnes, but just by a smidgen. I know it's really sticky. To get well, And so Ro just said, I can't hold it on that side very well. So that's a really good observation. So that's, you know, where I like to say option A, never ever do this again. Or B, maybe I need to add this into my repertoire in a gentle way, not overdone. So that could be practicing the osteoporosis variation and say, you know what, that was just easier. Of course, the only difference between osteopenia and and prevention, lift your arms away from the chair. I'll show you. Are you doing it, Rosanna? Lift the arms away from the chair. Because that way, so in the first sequence, we had Shalabhasana, the back lift, which is what we are now having to do in this pose. So when I come here, so this is not so scary, but once I have to lift up, it becomes. So Rosanna, you're the only one allowed to do that, according to your DX. But just because, again, it says, well, I am safe to do it. Again, the purpose of this practice is what? Strengthen the hips and work balance. So the pose where you feel that you're getting the most of that, that is the pose you want to practice. I like to take us through all of them so that you have an understanding of each. There was a thought that just went. But at the end of the day, practice the pose that gives you the most benefit. It is this is what I wanted to say. It is much more beneficial to practice a pose with great alignment and actions than to practice a pose that we are hanging on with the skin of our teeth and everything is going everywhere. You want to feel firm, not rigid, solid and strong, stable in the pose. And if it feels like I said, that it's just a runaway train, go to another variation. All right, Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. So the mat, you'll have the long end of the mat against the wall. And this pose is just a progression of Warrior 3. So with the long end of the mat, I'm going to aim this up a little bit. And you can move some of the stuff out in the room too, Agnes. So, I mean, we got lots of space today. So this one here, Parivrtta means revolved. And the hand, I'm using it on the wall for support. So think of the osteoporosis. I don't want to fall. I don't ever want to fall, but I really don't want to fall here. So Parivrtta, it is opposite hand. I'm not going to go for the biggest ever anything. I'm still working mainly on balance, and I want to keep the length of my chest so I'm not rounding. That's the osteoporosis. Length, balance. Now, when we get to, so I'll just show that right off the bat. When we go to osteopenia, we'll practice them separately. But osteopenia, I now go lower. And then I got my arms all confused. Sorry. Opposite arm and left. So I'm revolving here. So now I have the same height. So if you think back at Warrior 3, nothing has changed in my legs. but now I'm adding revolving. So the difference here to here, much deeper. That make any sense? Was it too fast? Good. So starting, let's take yours to see if I keep myself straight here. Your left hand on the chair. Now stand in a tabletop, standing tabletop. So walk a little closer to the chair, Agnes, a little closer to the chair, even a little bit more. Yeah. Now that is good. So your left arm is going to stay on the, am I saying that right? Yes. Left arm is going to stay on the chair. Right leg is going to lift up. So Rosanna, you're very far away from the chair too. So I would come a little closer. So your arm is right under your shoulder. Arm is right under shoulder. So it's straight down. Looking at you, Barbara, there. So oh wait, no, we're doing, sorry, my bad. Lift the other leg. Lift the left leg. See, I'm really backwards today. There you go. Left leg lift, left arm is down. Left leg lift, left arm is down. And then the right arm is on the wall and the right foot. So other way, Rosanna, it's my bad. I completely confused you now. So, and then you will turn towards the wall. Your right arm will go on the wall. So from the belly button down, everything is the same. You're in warrior 3. Switch your legs, Agnes. Now keep the arms just there, and then right arm towards the wall. Yeah, that away. Mwah. So you have right leg down, left arm down. So you're supported on a diagonal. We should do the other side. Yeah. Yes, we have to move the chair for this one. So you had, so right arm on the chair, left leg down. Right leg up, and left hand on the wall. So think again, your hips are kind of ish locked in. So Rosanna, something ain't quite right. So right arm down, left leg down. So when we do the same side as half moon pose, when we do diagonal for support down, it is revolved half moon. Your spine, think of where your tailbone is and create a straight line from tailbone to crown of the head. And then you add as much twist that's available off the head comfortably. Keeping the hip over the heel, hip over the heel. Rosanna, switch legs, yes, other leg. So right arm is down, right leg is up. Right hand on the chair, right leg lifted. And then turning, yes. This is a really good one, isn't it? So the work that we did in first sequence with all of those twists prepares us for this pose here. So we get that twisting capability in that one. It's also, so you shoulders was actually twisted towards the wall. So you shoulders were here, but your head was looking down. So when you asked me that question and you turned the head, your nose and your sternum actually lined up. Yeah. So should we do the forearm one? So that's osteopenia. So take the chair back to the first side. So instead of being up on the hand, now we take it a little bit deeper. So we get a little bit more leg lift. Yeah, so that's really the main difference. Just like we did in Warriors 3, you want to get that back leg up. So when you take now the left forearm to the chair seat and just have it along across the seat, across the seat. And you can put a blanket down. Yes. And so lifting the left leg. Did I say that right? Lift the right leg. There we go. So you're standing, wait. You're standing on, so row, you're standing on your right leg and your left arm is down. That is correct. Stand on your right leg, left arm is down. Yes, opposite. I think that's a good way of saying it. Wall leg. Yes. Because feel it here. Spinning the chest towards the wall. Now it takes a lot of concentration. Keep that back leg floated up. Keep it high, keep it high. So the crown of the head is a straight line from that back heel. Will the back leg straighten, row? Is. Straighten the knee. Straighten the knee. Yes. First variation better. Okay, down you come. That's hard. This is hard, but you guys look awesome. Agnes said, I did not came for a beating today. Do the osteoporosis, skip the other ones, just watch or repeat that one again. And so, yeah, be kind to your body. You work hard. You work so hard. So that make it easy for your body. So the wall leg is the one that lifts. The arm away from the wall comes down. But just notice a difference here that we have to work a little bit hard to get that leg. You have the wrong leg, Agnes. So you're doing half moon. Switch legs. It's easier, granted. It is. Now you have the right arms. Yes. No. Yeah, sorry. No, lift the other leg. So your support is diagonal. Your right arm is down, your left leg is, no. Right arm. Nope. Yeah. So look. It's like hanging moldings upside down backwards. So here, the wall leg, Ro has a good system. Barbara, are you okay? Yes. So the leg against the wall is on the ground. The wall leg is your standing leg. And then your non-wall arm is on the chair. Non-wall arm, the other arm, Agnes. The your left leg stands, right leg goes up. Yes.
Oh, this is what goes across.
No, I mean, I'm as confused as you are. This is hard, and this happens all the time in class, where because we're so used to practicing half moon, which is part of the second sequence. So when we have to add the rotation, Agnes, I hate to say it, but switch your legs. Keep your arms the same way. Same arm, arms right, switch the legs. No, you are not. This is very confusing. Arm up, yes. Yes. This is one of the most demanding poses in all of the sequence of yoga. Hands down. Any questions? Yes, so in the first sequence, we have revolved triangle. This is the same pose as revolved triangle. It's the same pose as the seated twist, except that we are just standing up instead of being down. So the merit is the sequence, first sequence and second sequence supports the third sequence. So if you think, today that, I don't know why he bothered with this one, I was going keep practicing the first and the second sequence, because that's where we get the strength and the flexibility for the third sequence. Because this is hard. He says that this is the most challenging of the three. Yeah. So, and so the hamstring length is a big consideration in this one here. And that's why in the prevention pose, Ro, may I borrow one of your blocks? Instead of using the chair, now I come all the way down to the ground. If my hamstrings are not long enough for this, I'm going to try to do something interesting stuff in my legs, but I want to maintain that length and coming around. That's revolved triangle. When I do revolved half moon here, I ran a little closer into the wall. I like it better with a chair. It's a lot easier to keep that lift. Once I tank the body down, I have to add much more lift for the leg. And I don't think there is a benefit to have it. So let me see, Rosanna, switch your hands. Nope, switch your legs, switch your legs. The arms are right, switch the legs. There, now twist to the wall, twist to the wall. Twist to the wall. Keep that back leg super strong. Don't lose the head. Keep the head, the neck. Agnes, I hate to say it. Yeah. So notice if it's really easy because you have the same hand and down, so here all day long. But when I have it here, it feels backwards. It's like, yeah. So intuitively, your body's saying, if we do it this way, it's a lot easier. Your body's just trying to help you out. So if you have done one side, want to do the other, finish up. If you want to ask a question, this is a really good time. So your legs as they were in, so Ro, your back leg is too far back. So you want the heel right under the hip. So your standing leg too far back. Standing leg too far back. Yes. And Rosanna, you look good on both sides. Any questions on going deeper? Comfortable? I do prefer this pose with the wall. It is really challenging and dangerous. All righty. It's not my phone, so it could be yours buried under there, Agnes. So our next pose is Parivrtta Parsva Konasana. So Parsva Konasana is side angle pose. Parita, again, revolved. Parita means turbulence. So if you're feeling a little thrown around, that's what these poses are intended to do. Can you maintain your center, the eye of the storm that's calm and clear with all of this going on? So that means heavy grounding. The first pose, here, super easy. I'll move this one out of the way. We are back in the lunge. So with and I have my left leg towards the wall, I maintain the height in the twist. So you'll spin the leg forward as closest to the wall, and the hands are up. So the key is don't really use the wall or the heavy-handed to twist. Use the muscles of the trunk to twist. Let's take 3 breaths and we'll switch to the other side. You see here. See, this is just lovely, right? This feels pretty good. You're not gonna write home about it. So again, knee over ankle on the front leg. Draw the abdomen in and up. And we're twisting. So a strong lift of the lower abdomen. And again, here you can use your hands to pull down on the wall to facilitate that lengthening upward. So watch the knee. You have the 4 corners of your wall leg, 4 corners of that foot grounded so that the knee doesn't reach into the wall. Can you keep the knee steady? So you can have the leg against the wall. But if your knee is not touching the wall to begin with, make sure that it doesn't flip into the wall as you practice. If your whole foot is against the wall, but make sure you have the 4 corners evenly. Yes, Ro, you said you felt it across the whole upper, yeah, everything. You get these cross diagonal lines. Well, and you were so kind to mention last time. So have you done the other side or are we still on the first side? If you're on the first side, switch to the second side. Yeah, good then, you're good. For the second part, and this is where maintaining, I'll turn around. The yoga teacher's nemesis is we demonstrate on the same side, so we create our own imbalance. Terrible. So here, so Agnes, what I was saying, if your foot is not against the wall, make sure that you spin to the wall, that it doesn't, the knee doesn't travel. But if your whole leg starts against the wall, this may be a little too tight for the twist. You're going to need a little bit more room. Now here, all I'm doing, I'm just beginning to come forward. Can I hook my elbow across the knee? My spine stays long. It's twisted, but it is long. Hooking the elbow across the knee. So the abdomen is still drawing in. So Rosanna, you can shift the knee, come a little bit further forward over, so the knee is over the foot. So you move, yeah, like that. It'll just give you a little bit more space in the pose. And Barbara, you too, keep the knee over the ankle. Ro, can you hook the elbow over the, yeah, elbow over, yeah, so slide it down and just hold the hand on the wall. You can bend your other hand up again a little bit more, bend the elbow here. So you still have the same, you just slid the whole thing down the wall a little bit. And you switch to the other side. I feel a little. So from where you start to row, walk your foot a little bit further forward, just a smidgen, yes. So there's space. If your heel is too close, if the front heel is too close to the back knee, your spine doesn't have any place to go. So as you slide down, does the knee just hook across, the elbow hook across the knee? Slide the arms down, Agnes. Slide the arms just until your elbow hits the knee. But keep the spine long. So we added the hip hinge here. And you may say, you know what? I like the osteoporosis variation better. That one I feel I get more out of. So points, Barbara, because you're saying I'm staying right here. This is good for me. And from here, coming up. So Rosanna, you want the last one? So here, so you and Emily are the full-on practitioners. A block can be helpful here. But so we were here. Now all I'm gonna do is take my arm down to the floor or to a block, straighten the back leg, and then still using the wall to facilitate the twist. So, no, you're going to repeat one or two. That's a nice compliment. Thank you. Yes. So, Rosanna, I am watching you. And the variation that is right for you, whether it's the upright. So Rosanna, you'll take your left leg forward. No, left leg forward. Left foot comes up. Yes. Because you're going to be spinning to the wall. So all of these twists feel really counterintuitive. Will that hand come to the inside with the knee to the outside of the shoulder and then revolving around? So muscles are hugging around spine and inviting it to twist. Muscles are hugging in around the hip joints, creating stability. 3 to 6 breaths. So you're getting your full workout today, for sure. Any questions about revolve, side, angle? I'm going to take that as a big no. Now, after a twisting pose, you want to end your practice with something that bookends, balances both sides of the spine. So today we're actually going to finish with reverse tabletop, and we'll go to Shavasana because it's almost 3:30. So I know it's time flies when you're having fun. So with your chair, this is such a wonderful way to practice this. Sitting forward on the chair. I just did that at friend's home today. They were such good sport about it. So sitting all the way forward, watch. And then lifting the hips and lowering down. So sitting forward on the chairs, lift the hips, hands are behind on the chair seat. So getting the hips elevate it. That is the key. That's tough on your shoulders. I know. So bridge pose is a good one to alternate for you instead, Meg. So this one here, right, that one is pretty easy for the us. I say easy, for holding it for 30 seconds or a minute. That begins to get challenging. Now, the second variation is, move the chair out of the way again. I must have aimed the camera up a little bit with Duke, back down. Where you have the hands behind. So just watch for a quick second, because what happens in this sometimes is, as we lift up, we're in a hurry to get the head back. And then nothing much happens with the hips. So we want to get the height before the head goes back. So feet hip width apart, and then lift the hips, lift the hips. And if you have a shoulder thingy, bridge pose from the first sequence is your BFF. Yes. You okay? Yeah, don't let them. And then press the whole foot down. Yes, you're pounding more with the heel for sure, but you want to keep reaching into the front of the foot. Barbara, you okay? That's hard on the wrists. Yes. So this is one of those poses, poison or posion, because again, the radial fracture is an osteoporosis fracture. If it's hurt on the floor, was the chair better? Yes, do the chair. Then as you become stronger, move to the floor. So Rome wasn't built in one day. So from here, I invite you to set up for Shavasana. The best news today. So having your mat, so there's a sense of being able to spread out. And so last week we did the Mountain Brook blanket. So if you like that, absolutely fold. So unfold that one more time. So let me set that up again. The Mountain Brook, where you cover half of the mat first with the blanket. And then I fold it over just a hand's length. And then I took my other blanket for my head. So Maggie, you want to set up so you're a long way out. That way, otherwise you're going to feel like you're really going to get squished on the wall. And then here, your second blanket or towel. This is for my head. So I'm creating a little valley. And this is just such a good pose because over time, for most of us, we begin to, again, get a little bit more kyphotic. So this pose helps lift and lengthen. And then using your blocks under your knees. So as I rest here, with my shoulders are in the valley, my head is on the head blanket. And I'm just gonna let my legs relax. Now, could you straighten your legs out? Absolutely. If it doesn't, pull a tuck on your low back. So with the blocks under the knees, but not wide legs. So I'll put them right here. Yes. So straighten your legs out along the floor. Did you get another catch? There, here, I'm gonna just put them right there. So this just takes the psoas out of the equation. There. How's that? So you want to be far enough away from the wall where you're not really touching the wall, because your brain is going to keep telling you there's a wall there, there's a wall there. Letting the palms face upward. Until the work is done. Relaxation is as important as the effort. That's the other side of the coin. If it's all effort and no time for the body to rejuvenate, we will deplete ourselves. If it's all relaxation and no opportunity for the body to get all these nutrients circled around, the blood circled around, then those no good either. We need these two sides balanced. So now we let go. Just surrender completely. Inviting the breath to draw deep into your belly. And then a sense of it expanding downward and outward and upward. So the whole body breathes in and out. From this place of deep surrender and relaxation, gently begin to deepen the breath. So while the body begins to gently awaken, the mind stays very relaxed. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bending up the knees. Place the feet on the mat. Rock the knees gently from side to side. Hug them in if that feels good to your body. Rolling all the way over onto one side. And then pushing up into a comfortable seated posture. So what do you think? This is a demanding sequence. I'll say it again. This is a demanding sequence. So if you feel like you got beat up today, it's probably because you got beat up today a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So being very mindful and supportive. No questions. Well, we're gonna go and close it up then. Rosanna, you look like, okay, she's coming in. I see her coming in there.
Just to say thank you. I am with a discomfort on my left heel, like upper the heel, the vein that goes on top of the heel, but I don't know exactly how to describe. So I'm gonna let to be in person with you to talk about that. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
because it could be a number of different reasons. And so when we finish up, so next week, everything in yoga comes back to mountain pose. How you stand in mountain pose is the perfect alignment for every pose that we do, because that's where we get sort of our true north. So when we in a pose like the ones today that are really complicated because things are going that way, things are going that way, and can we still hold on to that element of mountain and balance? So this may be where it is. So next week.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
all.
welcome. Well, let's close it. We'll close it with one. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart, your intention, your you. Keep the intention in place. Let it know it's your truth. And we'll draw the gaze up. And namaste and thank you.